one of those in a while, actually.
I have one. I found an old one. I hated when Apple went. Not only did they go new, but like any of your saved, I had CDs and you put it on your computer, and then on the newer incarnations of it, right, they wouldn't let you load it onto iPods or whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I
how
hate
does
this.
it feel?
Sorry, now we have to get to them.
Yeah.
Right.
So where do we pick up this season with Harvey?
With Harvey, it's like everybody else. The bridges are blown, the walls are built. Gotham is anarchic, and Harvey's hanging out at the GCPD because he has no alternative. I think because he's just ride or die with Jim, and it's kind of Jim's the moral compass. I think Harvey's he has a deeper, more codependent relationship with Jim Gordon in this way. I think his life outside of his friendship with Jim and his role at the GCPD is pretty empty, and so there we are, just trying to create as much order as we can to the chaos that exists.
How would you describe the tone of this final season?
It's dark. It's so. It's violent, and it's as Hobbes would say, like man in a state of nature. It's brutish, nasty, and short. And there was actually a line that was taken out, but it was like, what happens when the water goes and the food goes? Like, what do people revert to? And that's what Gotham's like this season. It's survival. Yeah, it's pretty dark.
What have been some of your favorite moments in your story arc?
I loved in the pilot, I loved taking Jim Gordon down to the pier and telling him that he had to kill Penguin. And saying that you've been to war, right? So you know that sometimes doing a bad thing with a small b is for the greater good. And he didn't do it. And in a weird way, it would have saved Gotham a lot, and it would have saved a lot of lives in a strange way. It's this kind of moral relativism, but I remember that scene so clearly, and obviously Ben and Robin are so great, and that was a powerful scene. And there was a scene in the pilot where a young Bruce Wayne is being comforted by Jim Gordon. His parents were, that's another thing that you don't think about. It's like he's a child. He's orphaned by an act of incredible violence in front of him. And Alfred comes to pick him up, and through the midst of this, he's walking this young boy back to the car who's just lost his parents, and he gives them this tiny little nudge to stand up straight, to face life like this is how we face life, And I was telling Sean that it's like, there's so many. There's a good scene where Jim is pulling the captaincy from me. It's a dark little behind the back move, and it's uncool. And I think we've had some good scenes, because so much of Gotham is theatrical and big and beautiful and wild that it's hard sometimes to find those more intimate scenes where it feels like there's a real emotional traction in this kind of way. And I had a really beautiful scene with David earlier this season, where it's essentially, look, you're a billionaire. You have a reason to not be in Gotham if you didn't want to be. You could have gotten out of town. The fact that you stayed here gives people a lot of hope, So there's just so many. And I love, I just see things from my shoes in this way. I don't think of it critically in this broader sense, but I remember season 1 when Corey, the way that they unspooled the Riddler was so brilliant, because it just gave him little bits and pieces, and you could be annoyed with him, or you can see what starts to create in somebody that trauma of being just bullied or overlooked or something that starts to burn within someone. That's going to be like, you're going to see me. I'll make you see who I am. And I love those elements of Gotham.
Talking of the baddies, which are you excited to see again? Because we see, see new ones? We see some old ones.
I mean,
come back?
I love, obviously, Robin and Corey because we're so close, and they're both brilliant, and we've worked together for years. Shane has come in as Bane, and Shane's an old friend from way back in the Los Angeles days, and he's a fantastic guy, fantastic actor, and I think Bane will be really exciting.
As an actor, you're coming to the end of Harvey, of your place in Harvey's story. What do you need as an actor to end the story emotionally?
I think I made peace with that journey a long time ago. I can't say why. It was just it was so different from so many things. Like the last few jobs that I came on, well, Law & Order was a little weird because I would stay on if Gotham didn't go or whatever, so it was left it kind of open-ended and strange. The jobs before that, like Vikings, Sons of Anarchy, Copper, these different things, I was brought in intentionally to be the foe to the hero, the antagonist to the protagonist, and when that goes down that only one's going to survive, and it ain't going to be you, right? So it was fun in a weird way to build towards something where you go out in flames, and this, I think, it's just really accepting the kind of beta role to Jim Gordon's, to Ben McKenzie's alpha. It's like I'm here to have your back until the end, or till however long it goes. And it made it kind of easier for me because there wasn't a trajectory that I had to kind of, I knew what my role was, and my role was to play it. And not to fight to make it more or less, it was just to be the guy that was always dependable and always there.
What can we look forward to in Harvey for this last season for a storyline?
I think Harvey he doesn't take off on his own trajectory. He's really riding Jim's storyline. He's really just, he has nowhere else to go. So if they're going to stay and try and make sense or create a little buffer of safety in Gotham, he's just there to do what he can do because the world is too chaotic and he has nowhere else to go. So far I've been kind of just, like I said, I've been, a lieutenant to Jim and like trying to support whatever play he makes.
See, how far are you into filming this season?
So we're starting, we're like 70% of the way through.
Have you seen the final script?
No. I haven't seen it yet. I heard things about it today, but I do know that, I know that John said at the Q&A it jumps forward 10 years. So the final script is Bruce Wayne 10 years from now, when he's ready to don his new persona, so it's kind of exciting, it's cool. And it's cool that they gave us that opportunity to finish out on something, a moment like this, which is what we thought of from the beginning. We thought we would do it until it was time for Batman to put on, the cape in this way. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.